is a Cosmic Octave original podcast.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm
Oh,
married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
Welcome to episode 54.
I kind of want to just go off on a string of
55.
expletives, like.
Just really offensive.
We got to start over.
Why?
No, it's not offensive. It's just really a lot of swearing.
Oh, well, fucking do it. I don't care.
Fuck you.
Oh, anyway.
Oh, hey.
Hey, we're actually gonna do. We thought we could just do one long episode, so we'll try and do that. But if we do split it up, because we're gonna be talking about The Boys season 3 finale, we're gonna be talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. So you might actually just be hearing the Thor: Love and Thunder part of the podcast.
I think it's probably, I think we got enough to talk about because we're going to do Boys Season 3 review and finale. But here's the thing about Miss Marvel is we both watched episode 5.
Yeah.
Is it 6 episodes, right?
Yeah, the next episode is the last one.
So the next episode will be the last one. So we are recording next week. That'll be probably more Miss Marvel centric, as well as we'll be able to do a season in review as well. Just heads up. I loved episode 5, but we'll get to talk about that next week.
And it's also another way that we can talk about how it's going to set up the Marvels and how that's going to happen, all that.
Yeah, it'll be
so we'll have an extended conversation about that next week.
Yeah, but we felt like trying to shoehorn Miss Marvel episode 5 like onto the back of one of these is just not fair to Miss Marvel.
So anyway,
next week it'll be
let us talk about the latest movie in the MCU.
You got your thing hooked up?
What? Oh well, yeah. Hold on, we
better
can't.
get the fucking pizza time, even though you might as well know.
Well, I mean, if it's a full length episode, people
we never
know. But
well,
no, hold on. We're gonna need it because
we could talk about our expectations and whatnot before we dive into spoilers.
I guess, but
we could.
This movie is one of those movies that's directed by
Tiki Watiti.
Fucking son of a bitch.
And this is actually a movie about...
It's Thor's weapon.
Yeah, it really is about that.
Yeah.
So.
But you knew that from the previous, so no spoiler there.
Tiki Watiti.
Second Thor movie. I had a lot of expectations coming into this movie, and I think it... Well, I don't think it necessarily was the movie I would have made, but I still feel like it was made for me, if that makes any sense. Like, it's still in the same vein of what I would have done. With Thor and how I would have liked to see his story.
I'm really glad that you're not in charge of the MCU because I would hate that shit.
Wow. No, it didn't go in the direction I had hoped, but that's totally fine. I'm not deterred by it. I really enjoyed this movie. I think I'm going to be one of the few people on the internet that will defend this movie. Because I'm seeing a lot of hate. I'm seeing a lot of good things, but I'm also seeing a lot of issues with it, and I don't think the movie's perfect. I think the movie has its issues, but for me, it's on the same level of Multiverse of Madness. A lot of people don't like that movie, but that movie felt like it was made for me, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Same with this movie.
When we get to spoiler time, we will talk about what we expected, but honestly, talking about that now would kind of give away what it is. But so save what you remember what you were expecting. Hopefully.
No.
We can talk about what you were expecting. Because I want to talk about what I was expecting. But not right now. Because spoiler free.
I will say this. The movie could have benefited from being like, I don't know, another 10, 15 minutes.
I thought the length was pretty perfect. But that's based on the fact that I didn't have to pee.
I wanted more time with
during the entire movie.
That's really what it boils down to.
That's fucking... I sat through both goddamn mid-credits. Okay. There's 2, by the way. But I will admit that 10 minutes into it, I was like, I don't like this. Not because I didn't like it. I can't even remember what it was. I'll talk about it when we get past spoiler pizza time. But there was a moment when I was like, oh, fuck this, And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it's she-themed or it's woman. Like, I'm not by any means. That had, I don't even think it was by that point, really. I don't even think, but yeah, we'll get into it. I don't even think
I don't know
Jane
what the
Fo-
fuck you're talking about. So let's just
The
move on.
Sif part, you douche. We talked about it. Yeah, off the air.
That's not a spoiler because
well-
nobody cares about Sif outside of people that read the comics. This is my point.
So you don't give a shit about me, and I'm not done.
It's not you. I'm just saying that Marvel doesn't give a shit about her.
I expected.
So they don't expect you
yeah,
to.
it didn't. It wasn't what I expected either. But here's the thing: about 10 minutes into it, I leaned into. I realized what kind of movie I was in for, what kind of ride, and I leaned into it, and I fucking loved it. I cried. I laughed.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really beautiful movie.
Above all else,
Not perfect, but
I-
really good.
I think, again, there's fair criticism. I think there are times when the movie can seem too silly. For me, it works because that's the kind of humor that I like. But I could also see how not a lot of people like it. And I get it. There are some jokes in this movie that don't land for me. There are some that are that I just didn't think were funny, and I wish they would have moved on from. But you could say that about any funny movie. You could say that about any comedy, anything, you know. So I feel like that's a fair criticism. I understand that, but I had so much fun with the movie, and that's what I wanted from this. Because I gotta be honest, the biggest appeal to this was just so funny when we were talking about Loki. When we first started this, the very first episode of this show where we talked about Loki. And I said I was excited about the multiverse stuff. I'm already over multiverse shit, and I was actually like, "Oh, cool! We're just getting we're just
Cosmos.
we're just getting a regular single story, and it's not. Yes, it's tied to the MCU, but you could honestly go in watching this right out of Endgame, and you'd be fine. Yeah. And I feel like that is something that works for this movie very well because. Multiverse of Madness, you have to watch WandaVision to fully understand it, and then you have to go back and watch that show. Like all this other stuff is homework, whereas Thor was like, boom, this is the movie. This, and again, because of where it is in space, what you and I were talking about on the more cosmic side of the Marvel universe, it's more interesting.
Yeah, you can do more. You can have way more fun with it.
Because no
rules.
And you and I have talked about this, and again, this is why I think I love this.
By the way, how about that fucking Disney's Strange World fucking trailer? Jesus Christ, that looks awesome. Sorry, I just had to say it. That looks really fucking cool.
It was really scratching that like retro sci-fi itch that I like that weird like the strange world of tomorrow, like that kind of
dude. Like the Butte just started walking away. Anyway,
but anyway. You and I were talking about this. This is why I kind of like this movie so much. Is I feel like Marvel fucked up Asgard, in a sense of like they made it cool, and I wanted to be there more, and we weren't there enough. And we're not enough. Like I feel like the second Thor should have just been on Asgard, and not had the Earth time.
I thought you were gonna say on acid.
And
shows you where my brain's at.
So because I haven't really had that attachment to Asgard like you would get in the comics, because there's shit that happens on Asgard in the comics.
The Warriors 3, I thought were done dirty. I've said it before.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at too. Is the Warriors 3?
What I hate is that
nobody reads a Thor comic and they see the Warriors 3 and they only watch the movies, they think they're punk bitches. But I'm like, dude, there's so many great, like you and I were talking about, Volstagg and. The Warrior Sif is a fucking badass in the comics. They're like Thor and Sif are married in the comics. Like,
well, for a time.
But you know what I mean? Like those
in mythology, they're basically like the two. They hook up all the time.
Those characters are cool, and that sucks that happened to them. But this is why I like this movie because this Thor is leaning into its own Thor. It's not, and like I was talking to you in the car. I feel like. Ragnarok was Taika was being like a comic book writer that comes in to finish out an arc, and then starts their run.
Right.
And I think Ragnarok was a really good bridge between what the traditional Thor movie was and what Taika was going to kind of do with it, and now this is full on what Taika and Chris Hemsworth wanted, and I like it. I know that you said you liked it too eventually, but. Well, let's just get into pizza time. I want to know where you kind of drifted off from this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Pizza time.
We're talking about the whole movie. So if you haven't seen Love and Thunder,
we're not.
Look, at the very least, we're both saying you should see this movie.
We'll
'Cause
try
it's
and go chronologically, but
I-
we will jump around.
Here's the thing. I
Yeah.
promise you, no matter how you feel about the humor and everything, I think at the very least you will be very entertained with this movie. This is a fun summer movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a good. I think this is another reason why I like it. But yeah, so one more time.
Pizza time.
All right, so let's get into it.
So
what was the thing that made you go no? Like you rejected it?
I liked the everything up till then, up to the Sif where he sees her, and like I did think the conversation was entertaining. Like, oh, you have to actually die like in battle. Like, oh shit, like I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But then like he went somewhere else, and I was like, don't even fucking tell me that's how you do Sif. That you're doing her dirty like that. Like she's never gonna appear again, just gone. And
Yeah.
Obviously, if you've
Which
seen
honestly,
it,
I didn't know she was
that-
still alive. To be quite honest with you.
That's why I wasn't super pissed. I still didn't know whether they did her dirty like that. I didn't until the end of the movie. I didn't. But
when she's training at the end.
yeah, but I don't know why, but I kind of said, okay, MCU movies are so much better when you trust the filmmaker.
Yeah.
When you stop wanting it to go the way you want it to go.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot because I'm a comic book nerd,
Yeah.
so I know all the storylines and shit. But when you stop trying to force your framework onto somebody else's creation, that's when it's so much more. It's so much more enjoyable to enjoy that creation.
Well, and that's the thing
Did I say
is
so much more enjoyable to enjoy that creation. But it's so much more fun to enjoy that creation.
Well, and that's the thing is this Thor has always been different than the Marvel Comics Thor.
Mhm.
So he's always had, and I think each movie is trying to do its own thing, and that's the thing about these sequels in the MCU, which is why I find it so fascinating as a franchise, is each sequel. I mean, Iron Man 2 is still much of the same, but like Iron Man 3 is different than Iron Man 2. What I'm saying in Winter Soldier.
What?
No, what I'm saying is like Winter Soldier is such a different movie. That's a spy movie, whereas First Avenger is a period piece propaganda.
If you watch
It's
First Avenger lately,
let me
it's
finish.
not that
Let
bad.
me finish. It is a World War II propaganda movie, and then Winter Soldier is a spy movie, and then Civil War is just Avengers 2.5. But Thor is a Shakespearean play, a Greek tragedy, because Norse tragedy, I guess. But
Norse tragedy.
yes,
It was a Dutch tragedy.
yeah.
They
And-
were also Vikings. Did you know?
And then the second Thor, I don't know. They were trying to do more of like a darker, serious Thor, and it just didn't.
I still can't remember that movie. And there's-
you couldn't fucking.
Can I just? That's the worst part about that movie. I think what makes that
It's
movie
forgettable. It's super forgettable.
bad. I can't remember what happens in it.
I only know what's in it because Marvel has.
I know they did curse dirty. They fucking did
Everything
curse
is
dirty.
dirty.
Like the fucking MCU has done a lot of fucking really solid characters real dirty, dude.
They have.
Fuck. They fucked up Malekith too. Jesus, one of the
Malekith
best.
sucks in that movie.
He's like the other side of the Walt Simonson Ragnarok storyline in the comics, where Thor
Yeah.
or where Odin dies
Yeah.
fighting Surtur. He
Anyway.
doesn't die. He comes back.
But then again, you go to Taika's Ragnarok, which is a totally different movie where it's Ragnarok because it's destroying everything that Thor has. He loses his. Well, I guess he loses him in Infinity War, but they're pretty much like right next to each other. But he loses his home. He loses his father. He finds out he has another sister, or he has another sibling, and they're trying to kill him. And it's like he can't have a sibling that just loves him, and all this shit. And now we have this where Thor's trying to find himself in this fourth movie, and that's what I love is they're all different movies.
If you think about, I think about Ragnarok as like a sci-fi, like nerdy, like nerd out piece, which I love. The music is fucking great. Mark Mothersbaugh is one of my favorites. The guy from Devo, by the way.
I gotta give props to the licensed music in this movie. Love and Thunder actually has some. Really
Love
good
and Thunder was your typical action-packed coming-of-age movie,
tracks. Yeah.
and it was the music in it was appropriately so. And I fucking, like I said, I really don't like it when example Goodfellas, they play the second part of Layla during that
The
montage.
piano exit when all the mobsters are getting whacked.
Right. Did you know? Did you know they? I think they don't even have the whole Layla song on the soundtrack. It's just that part.
I think it's just the piano. Exit.
Why? Just play the whole. By the way, fuck Eric Clapton. Anyway.
Yeah, he's a shit
yeah,
anyway.
fuck him, man. But no, but it's kind of like that. So when the scene happens where, because they actually, believe it or not, do not run Welcome to the Jungle into the ground, which I was surprised by because they could have.
That's another. Yeah, it's a good point. When they use the licensed music, they use it in the right spots.
But November Rain, the climax of November Rain, when that at that end climax scene, like when they're all fighting and shit, like that made me cry, like with happy tears. Like, dude, there's nothing I like seeing more than the underdog finally getting up and saying, "No, you move," And it's like, fuck yeah, and it was a children's crusade, dude. And here's the thing:
that's why I think
such hope for the future is what the Asgardian Okay.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, but the Asgardian children, that's what made me smile. Was like, okay, wait a second. Now I'm getting it. This is hope for the future.
Here's a great example.
I get it now.
Here's a great example.
Yeah.
I saw this with Ashley. This is the first movie we'd seen since she's been pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
First movie since The Batman. Different movie. Totally different movie than that movie. And I talked to her about.
Andrew Luck's here.
I was talking to her about this because I talked about how I view movies a little bit differently than she does, and I hold movies in a higher regard in my movies are tied to my memories. I tend to remember things based on movies, and movies have always been my attachment to a lot of people, and that's the beauty of movies and art, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember because it was the first time I told Ashley I loved her was when we saw the second Thor movie.
Oh my god!
So I've always had like that tie to our relationship through the Thor movies. So
was it when you were first dating?
Yeah.
Because what I was gonna say is that you were like, "Oh man, this movie sucks. This date's going horrible. Oh, I love you." Just kidding.
That's how you know we love
totally
each other.
kidding.
We've seen 3 Thor movies in the theater.
Wow.
Together, so.
What was the other one?
Ragnarok. We weren't together when the first one came out. Anyway.
Sidetrack.
No, but that's the thing, is that's why I think I had such an attachment to it. But this movie is such a family movie that there are parts, like the beginning of this movie when Gore has his daughter dying in his arms. Mm-hmm. It is a very sad scene and a shock, like almost jarring opening to this movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I get,
to say the least.
By the way, I totally understand the complaints with tone shifting in this movie. I understand that.
Sure.
But anyway, like as a parent, even as a normal person, that's sad.
Yeah.
But then I guarantee you, most parents in the audience watching this were like, Jesus Christ, like they were
like, really, thanks.
Because it's like it is a really big gut punch to start this movie, but that's the beauty, because that's what Gore's character is. Gore's character is a tragic, creepy, sadistic character, and I love it. And that whole opening sequence was such a good way to start a movie. And I was crying in that part, like I was like tearing up in that part, and then it ties it in a bookend where I'm tearing up at the end because as a parent, it was, it was just a different feeling to it. And a buddy of mine texted me. He said, as a parent, I cried at this. And I go, oh, I did too. Like, when he runs out with her and then you find out that the name of the movie is Love and Thunder because that's his daughter. I'm like, jeez, that's so good. That was
so fucking cool. Yeah, and then the big logo comes up and you're like, fuck yeah, Taika Waititi is the best.
Which is what, there's only one other.
Where's my goddamn Beta Ray Bill? Motherfucker.
If you're going to do Hercules, you might as well do Beta Ray Bill.
No, actually, no. They really have nothing to do with each other in the comics. Honestly.
Well, no, but I mean,
except for their ties to Thor.
If you're going to bring in if you're going to bring in Hercules, what's stopping you from bringing in Beta Ray Bill is what I'm saying. They don't have to necessarily be tied to each other.
Here's the thing. Hercules is actually, when you look at it, is a lot more a long time coming to the movies than Beta Ray Bill. And the reason why is because Hercules has long been like a long time Avenger in the comics. And he hasn't even been introduced until now. Spoiler, by the way. You've already seen him, motherfucker.
We're already in that area.
Yeah, fuck you. Oh,
well,
sorry. Wow.
That's the thing too. Is I don't think many people know that he's a Marvel character.
Because maybe not.
I'm pretty sure he's in DC too. I'm sure
he's like a D-lister in the Marvel comics.
Well,
he was the Incredible Hercules for a while.
He
took over
the Hulk's book.
but
yeah.
I didn't really care. Who cares? I don't really think he's that compelling of a character.
No, but I think
Do
it'd be fun. But like I was saying, I think it'll be fun to go back to the more mythology roots of
Him
the
and
character.
She-Hulk had a thing in the comics.
What'd you think of Tooth Gnasher and?
Fucking loved him.
I laughed every time this fucking
Yes.
thing screamed.
Yes.
And you'd think I would be sick of it, but I was still laughing.
They did it in such a way. They did it just like well, they were on screen a lot.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: if they had done where they had been like, okay, every time they're on screen, you have to hear them screaming, that would have been irritating.
Yeah.
But generally, like, they screamed a lot, like right when they first appeared.
It was
but
almost
then
used as like a scene change, like a transition.
a little bit, yeah. But then every time they showed up on screen after that, they would scream once, maybe twice, and then that was it. You know, like then they were
Yeah.
fighting or whatever. So they used it sparingly enough to make it really funny every time.
Yeah.
Like every time the scream came, I was like, "Oh, cool! It's the goats." I don't really like. I mean, what?
I
don't
wanna
really.
s- I wanna
I'm not
see
that
wh-
much of a purist to be like, they didn't come from another alien race. They came from like Asgard. Like I don't give a shit. In the mythology. I mean, I'm just glad they
Yeah.
showed up because that boat was fucking cool as shit, dude. That was so cool when they were
what-
like,
did you see when he's building the Rainbow Bridge, when Stormbreaker's actually projecting the Rainbow Bridge when it's on the boat? And it's like,
oh yeah, no,
That's
they're
so-
riding on
yeah,
the
and
Rainbow
that-
Bridge as it creates it. That
Yeah.
was so fucking cool. I loved it.
because we've never actually seen somebody actually see the in-between space of the Bifrost. We've only seen it just used as a teleportation thing. So actually getting to see
It was
how
like
the
building
the
it
Bifrost
as they
works is
rode
cool.
on it. It was cool. Yeah, I
Well,
fucking
and
loved it.
you know what I loved about this
I fucking loved
is
it.
they really leaned into the weapons being sentient. Because
Yeah, they did.
Because in the comics, that's pretty. The Necro Sword is sentient in the comics. I don't think I've ever remembered Mjolnir in Stormbreaker being sentient, but
Not really. No.
but I kind of like it. I kind of like it as a twist
yeah.
because I like that it plays up the idea that Thor misses his hammer.
It's
Like
time
that's
for it's time for your first beer.
yeah. He pours the beer.
Dude, I loved it.
Which
dude.
is- 'cause he's
it
so-
created so many great moments of
No,
comedy.
that's what I love it because
When-
it adds to. That's what makes Chris Hemsworth so fucking good in this movie.
When Stormbreaker just kind of comes in
Oh,
front of no.
hey,
Oh,
dude.
hey, yeah,
I was
no.
just calling you.
Yeah. So
No,
fucking great,
but when
dude.
he pours the beer and that
Yes.
stupid fucking grin on his face after he does it, and yeah, dude, I
and
was.
you can tell
it was so
the axe likes it.
Yeah, just sitting there, just.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what a beautiful weapon. Yeah, for you, a beautiful.
By the
weapon
way,
for you.
the new Mjolnir is fucking cool as fuck,
When it
dude.
breaks and comes back together.
Did you see the part where she stuck the hilt up up underneath the monster's chin,
Yeah.
and then when all the things came back, they exploded? So fucking its head.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. I'm wearing my fucking wristbands.
So
You
you're
can't
excited
see
to
him.
see Thor use Mjolnir, the new Mjolnir, and
Well, yeah, because it's. Come on, man. We're talking about Thor, and you're not ready with the bang.
oh yeah, you know
Yeah.
when you think about that weapon, all you think about is
It's Thor's weapon.
Yeah. If I ever get to meet.
It's Thor's weapon.
No.
oh
Tiki Watiti.
I'm gonna be like, hey man, Mjolnir is.
It's Thor's weapon.
Yeah.
and then he's gonna be like,
I'll eat your ass.
and then you'll be like,
$1 million, bitch.
and then
What?
back to the show.
I was just saying, like, we have like 3 things that reference this particular Thor movie, and like we're not using them every second. We should be.
Daddy, chill.
He hates them drops.
I don't really care that much.
Yes, you do.
Daddy, chill.
Whatever.
Look at my face. You can't even.
Can't you tell from my face I don't give a shit? No, but I mean, it's
No,
kind of stupid to get upset about. I don't really care that much. No, I mean, whatever.
No, I love that they made the Stormbreaker sentient. I just thought that was an interesting.
Well,
and
they
it
made
made
Mjolnir
it funny
sentient too because he tells Mjolnir, well,
to take care.
Yeah.
but that I think that is a way of like
and Mjolnir was calling
he
her.
enchanted it. He enchanted it, yeah.
right, but it was calling her.
So the hammer knew that she was sick. But how would the hammer know that she was sick? I don't know. Who cares? It's fucking magic. But what do you think about that? So I thought that was interesting because in the comics, in Jason Aaron's run, the reason she becomes Thor is because Thor can't lift the hammer, and he becomes the unworthy Thor, and he goes on his quest to find himself.
But
again.
before the other Asgardians can recover the hammer, it's gone. It's a big
needed
part of the
It
storyline,
needed
actually.
someone to become Thor.
They have about 5 or 6 different characters who they heavily imply is the new Thor, and one of them is Freya, actually.
Yeah.
The first 5 issues of that run I have collected in a book, but I never got past that. So, I mean, no, I knew it was Jane Foster because
anyway, yeah. So how
years
they,
later,
that's how
anyway.
they do it in the book. But I kind of think it's interesting how they do it in the movie, in a sense that Thor enchants it. And not
no, I liked it.
Doesn't
Yeah.
realize it, but yeah, he.
What
just,
happens in the comic book run?
She picks it up. It chooses her to be the next Thor.
Oh, is that? It's just simple as that.
I'm pretty sure,
'Cause
if I remember correctly. But anyway,
Yeah.
then she becomes Thor, and it's the same in this movie as it
And
is.
she's a fucking great Thor, by the way.
It's the same as in the movie as it is in the comics, that she does have cancer, and becoming Thor is stopping her from being able to fight it.
And that makes sense. She does die in the comics, I think.
Yes.
But she
She
comes
comes
back
back
as
as
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
Yep.
So that may be what they'll do with her being in Valhalla.
But what about King Valkyrie?
I don't fucking know.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's a throwaway fucking scene. Just like
It has to be, but
it's just like, you know what it is? It's just like the Vulture meeting Scorpion in prison. Fuck you, Marvel.
oh,
Those goddamn standalone fucking go nowhere fucking. God, hate those things.
so yeah, I this movie, I do understand how it kind of jumps around in tone because it handles some serious stuff.
Yeah,
it
fucking grow up.
It handles the death of loved ones, and it also
I was fucking crying a lot harder than I thought I would.
cancer, and I still think it manages to work for me in terms of balance between the humor and the serious stuff. I think it works perfectly fine, but
Yeah.
that's also me coming at this as an angle too of like, look, I get it. There is a place for serious movies. Like, I fucking loved The Batman. I loved how serious that
Right,
movie
yeah.
is. And I think there should be a little bit more serious MCU movies, and I hope they do get a chance to do those.
But,
But at
you
the
know,
same- but-
Eternals. Let's talk about Eternals.
but here's
That was a serious one. Yeah, well, it fucking sucked. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But what I'm trying to get at is these movies still, at the very least, should be fun because they're comic books. They should be fun. So me watching this as someone who likes comics and likes the idea of just going for it, like just doing the weirder shit and going for the weirder shit. I that's another reason I think that I love it. Is there's no just, you know, Chris Hemsworth is an executive producer on this. Taika Waititi co-wrote the script. Like, this is their movie, and I think I like it more because of that, because it's just their movie. It's attached to the MCU, but like I said, you can literally just watch it right after Endgame.
My thing about the way the MCU has gone since Endgame, which has been TV series as well as standalone movies that are all connected.
Yeah.
I think they're going about it the exact way they should, which is a lot like comics. You know, you're gonna have a team up movie like Eternals, but then you're gonna have like an issue of Thor, which is this thing. You know. Is it super relevant to the rest of the Marvel universe? No, but it took place in the MCU. You know what I mean? And then, like, I like the way they've done things. You know, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or say Loki or whatever. Those are like limited series, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the movies are like issues in ongoing series to me.
I mean, it's already pretty much a TV show anyway.
Well,
like the movies themselves are like a TV show.
Here, you know what makes a really good movie? A movie that makes me fucking feel.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I'm some unfeeling cyborg, so if I cry, then it is good movie. Ding, ding, ding. 4 thumbs up. I am a cyborg with 4 thumbs. Okay. Sorry. You're not going to laugh about the 4 thumbs? Fuck you, man. Fuck!
I was waiting
I'm
for you
just
to make
kidding.
a point. Jesus.
No, I am. Sorry, but no, but when you, I felt a lot during this movie, and again,
Yeah.
I think it was because I leaned into what I knew the movie was going to be, but I don't know, man.
This
Like, I'm
movie-
not shy about being moved.
Well, this movie is is very silly, but it's also very sweet.
I was moved a lot in
It's
a lot of ways.
It's a very sweet movie.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because the message that they really drive home is this is a movie. There's love in the title. Like, this is a romantic it's a story about love.
You can choose love.
And as hokey and cheesy as that may be at the end of the movie where he says you're searching for love, it's still good.
It's not hokey. What's cheesy about that?
Jesus.
Oh, I forgot Jake's a capitalist.
No, what does that have to do with anything?
Oh my God.
What?
Profit over people. I'm just kidding.
No, what I'm trying to say is you could say that some people probably say that's cheesy and hokey or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I think it still works because at the end
I love it personally.
At the end of the day, yeah, it's about driving home the message of like we all just want love.
We're all scared shitless, but the more that we choose love, the better the world's going to be. And right now, not a lot of us are. A lot of us are choosing fear. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. And as simple as that message may be, I still like it.
Let's get
I
into
saw a lot of talk about the plot. I heard a lot of people complaining about the plot, that it's cookie cutter, that it's straightforward, and sure, but that's all of these movies. What are you talking about? Like, seriously, what's the first fucking Thor movie? The first Thor movie is he's an arrogant asshole, and his dad says you can't play with your toy until you be a fucking normal, compassionate person, God, whatever. Then he learns, you're right, Jane taught me humanity. Gets his hammer back. That's the movie. That's the plot. There's not much. Like, stop acting like there needs to be, like, I don't know.
Yeah, did you feel something? Did you have a good time at the movies?
No, and I get that there's a lot of...
Shut the fuck up.
I get that there's a lot of characters, and this movie moves quick, and there's a lot of things that get introduced and ideas.
Are there some YouTubers who can't follow the plot?
No, I just...
Well, fuck them. You know what? Your occupation is
going
YouTuber,
the wrong way
asshole.
about...
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No, but you know what I mean?
Really.
I can understand how people could say it seems convoluted.
Sure.
But
I followed it just fine,
it's just like any other superhero movie, and also video game plot. They need to get this item, and then they need to get to this next part of the map, and then this part, and then they fight the boss. Like, that's literally what it is.
Let's talk about Russell Crowe as Zeus, because we talked for about 45 minutes this morning about you woke up before everybody, so we were just chilling and talking on the phone. I was at work where there's nothing to do.
Like good lovers.
Yep. And
why'd you say it like that?
I have no idea, actually. But so we're just talking about it, and he had seen it yesterday, and I just saw it, and then like came right over here to do the podcast. So it's fresher for me. Just I wanted to put myself on that pedestal above you. Anyway, but we were talking about. You were like, I want to tell you something that has nothing to do with spoilers, but I love Russell Crowe as Zeus, and the way you described him and everything was like, okay, I kind of get an idea of like what I'm gonna expect out of Russell Crowe
accent and
it was great. And the other thing too is like
I flick off your clothes.
Yeah, I flick it right this time,
which would make sense because
I flick it back.
He's a Greek and Roman god. He would sound like that.
Yeah. But I loved him too. He was a perfect like.
He was such a douchebag.
My thing is, I want to read. Somebody put an article together with all the different gods that were in there. I love the dude that was just a head with feet.
Yeah. Or the fucking.
I'm not going to invite you to the orgy.
God of dumplings.
Yes. What was it? Boom. I think it was Boom or something.
Yeah,
Boom.
Boom.
I don't remember, but it was like I think. Yeah, that was fucking funny as shit. But here's my thing: is
also Omnipotent City is a great name.
Right. I go into movies a lot, and I gotta stop doing this because I go into movies and I expect things, and I am much more pleased with a movie when I don't expect anything. When I go into it knowing that I'm probably gonna like it, that's enough for me. I don't need to be like, oh, I wonder what Easter eggs are going to be in this one. You know, my lizard brain when I sit down to these fucking movies is like, Easter eggs. And it's like, ew.
No, I don't do that anymore.
I still do. I'm a comic nerd, so I've been complaining about the false flags in MCU movies.
Somebody's just gonna clip the. I've been getting into the false flags.
Oh shit!
Oh,
What I
like the
mean
fake
is-
shots and trailers and stuff.
Well, no, not that. What I mean is the wasting of really excellent characters. And when
yeah.
I thought they did Sif dirty, I was like, you fucking better not, Taika. All right?
All right.
You fucking fuck.
That was a
You
funny,
did the Grandmaster and the Elders of the Universe fucking dirty. And you know what
I
else?
think he was fine. For
I
the movie.
liked Eternity's representation, but you don't get him to talk. Well, he doesn't really talk in the comics either.
Yeah, look what you just did.
Shut the fuck up.
You worked yourself into a shoot.
And by the
brother.
way, here's a couple Celestials for no reason.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
Nobody fucking cares about Celestials, Tyler. I know you do, but nobody else does. Okay? We just gotta fucking move on from Celestials.
I fucking hate you. I do want
Name
to.
one good thing a Celestial's done. One.
They're fucking big and cool.
The cool Legos.
No, actually, not that much. I don't know why I love the Celestials so much. Don't get me wrong. In Arisham's Shadow is a great set. Now listen to me. Listen here, buddy.
Listen here, Bucko.
Listen here, pal. I do want to talk about one scene that I'm sure is polarizing a lot of people for the wrong reasons.
Oh god.
I wanted to talk about this because, to me, the characterization of Valkyrie, King Valkyrie, in the movies thus far has been consistent. Okay, she's a party girl and she likes to do it. And there's, like, I'm like that. I like to party and I like to do it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But at one point, did I say I'm a party girl?
It's just.
I think I did.
Why did you say it like Spicoli from fucking Fast Time? Like, I like to party too.
I like to party. I'm cool. I have a Nicolette.
I have sex, guys.
I do. I have a cigarette. I have a Nicolette.
What's a Nicolette?
That's from the movie, dude.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Like,
that
okay, guys,
movie in a
pony
while.
up the money. You've never seen it?
I've seen parts
Son
of
of
it.
a batch.
I've seen the part where she takes off her top.
A lot of men have.
Teenage boys. Anyway, that's what we were.
That's what the song "Teenage Dream" by Katy Perry is about.
Wow.
Yeah, right. No, but here's the thing: is I think the characterization of her is really strong. There's a lot of trolls and shit who have
Yeah.
nothing better to do than to sit around and cry about things progressing in a
God
positive
forbid
way.
anything other than white people are in a movie.
And they didn't even really. They implied heavily that she was involved in a
Yeah.
relationship in Ragnarok with a woman, but they didn't really say anything until the end of Avengers Endgame when he was like, a king needs her queen or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the
Yeah.
first time it was implicitly stated. I mean, in press and everything, they talked about, yeah, she's bi
Yeah.
or she's gay or whatever. But to me, you know, it's an important part of the character. And at one point, they're, you know, taking the lightning bolt. So she goes up on Zeus's platform and grabs the lightning bolt. And as she's walking off, and I kind of saw it coming, you know.
Yeah.
And she turns, and there's like a lot of really beautiful women on this dais with this floating dais with Zeus. And so she turns around, and like anybody who is a fan of, like, you know, having sex, she's like, you know,
Doing the dirty.
well, Valkyrie's like, you know, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to plant the seed here. And so when I come back, I'll be like, remember me? All right, let's do
Yeah.
this.
But let's get it on.
But there's a lot of trolls who are going to be pissed off and not galvanized, polarized by that scene because it's two women. And that's so stupid because if you take the gender out of the equation, it is a perfect characterization of somebody who's like, she's a swashbuckler.
No, but
And swashbucklers are cads,
that's-
and they're uncouth, and they fuck around, and that's their characterization.
That is the thing. There's people that will make a deal about that will be the same people that are like the Daily Wire posting a video of a cartoon where a boy is singing about a crush that he has on another boy, and it's like, if that were a straight character, if that were a girl singing about that boy, you couldn't give two shits.
What was it? The Daily Wire?
Yeah, the Ben Shapiro.
Oh, you guys got better things to do, you fucking losers.
Hey, they're making movies now starring Gina Carano, who has just gone full right wing fucking lunatic. Anyway,
not? Why not?
why not?
Go ahead.
You do, Gina.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of money in it, I hear.
There is.
A shitload.
Talk to Rob Schneider.
You know, hey, what's the price of your soul?
This summer, Rob Schneider sells his soul to Ben Shapiro.
Is he doing movies with him now too?
No, but he was at like a premiere of that Gina Carano movie. We're getting off topic. Anyway.
That's the fucking title of the goddamn show.
Hey,
man.
no, come on, no.
Hey man,
Hey,
listen,
no. Hey.
You better play the Macho Man. That's what I think about you right now.
nothing but garbage, yeah. Nothing but garbage, guy.
Yeah, right fucking there, dude.
Cheeky Watiti.
To that movie.
No, I'm done talking. No.
The movie about...
Penis?
Thor's weapon.
It really is about his weapon.
Yeah, and that was cool. I liked it.
Anyway, yeah, I know we're just kind of jumping around, but back to the omnipotent city stuff. I cannot get over how fucking funny Zeus was. Everything down to the fact that he's fat, like, and he's chubby. He's not really fat, whatever. But
you ever seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah.
You remember Yukon
Cornelius?
Yeah, that he looks like Yukon Cornelius.
Ashley said he looked like the Cowardly Lion, and he did.
I got over here and she said that. I hadn't even thought about that, but that is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
I think.
But
because he does the little
I
douchey.
I think there are some people that miss the point of it a little bit. I think that some people were like a little offended because they had this idea that Zeus. Because
I'm surprised there's no right-wing Italians coming out going, "Hey," you know what I mean?
No, I'm just talking about people in general that are like, Zeus that isn't the characterization of Zeus, and I'm like, no, you have seen the more modern version of Zeus that.
It's Liam Neeson, by the way.
Yeah, but. He is just like Thor, not in the Marvel universe. Thor in Norse mythology is fat. So I like that they kind of kept that idea of he's being a little bit. I know that he's always been
never skipped leg day.
I know that he's always been in shape in like the paintings and the myth, but like I like what they're implying here in the sense of like he has been a god his whole life. He's had They've shown that they don't care about the people they're supposed to take care of. So he's been just getting fat on omnipotent city and having orgies. So, it would make sense that he
No
looks
more,
like that.
no less.
But what made me go, yes, they nailed Zeus perfectly, was when he...
So did Valkyrie right through the chest. Boom. Ew. He was scratching his nose, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what I mean.
No, I wasn't. Shut up.
Who's powdering his nose?
Well, when he asked him to use the lightning bolt,
yeah,
and he does a fucking baton twirl.
Oh my God!
He was twirling it, when he took it, lifted his tutu, was like strapped down the thing, and like all of that was so good.
Was great.
That was
dude.
so. And again, based on like Greek mythology, that is Zeus. Like he's an arrogant asshole. Yep. Who just fucks everybody and doesn't care.
You want to know what works, what makes... Have you ever seen... Okay, now this is
also, I think it's great to kind of push the narrative of like, Gore has a point. Because look at how these people are asking. Like, immediately, the scene gets taken away because Thor's like, oh, I love Zeus. He's my favorite. And then he's like, oh, yeah, let's talk about all the great human sacrifices.
Yeah,
and he's like...
the number of, like, who's the winner.
Yeah, and he's like, ooh, okay, that's not... So, but again, I like that they use that scene to be like, well, maybe Gore kind of has a point. These guys suck.
So back long time ago on The Simpsons, they have an episode with Sideshow Bob and his brother. Okay, and they reveal that Cecil actually tried out for Krusty the Clown's sidekick, but he didn't play because Bob had more dignity. Krusty says, hey, you don't have any dignity, so the pie trick doesn't work on you, but they did it to Bob, and because he was more dignified, okay? The reason why I'm talking to you about that is because it's truth. And when you have a dignified actor, and I would say at this point he's fairly dignified, maybe not early on in his career when he was fucking fighting everybody.
Fighting around the world.
Yeah, fucking South Park. Fucking great, dude. We're going to watch this shit for the fucking trailer? But at this point in his career, he's a dignified, distinguished actor. Yeah. And so the fact that he fucking went for it, dude. And he was really into it, and like that made it so much better.
Give you a flick.
Yes.
Like the way he talked was funny. And
the whole performance was great.
Sounds like an Asgard the Problem.
Right, yeah. The whole sequence and his whole performance was great, but I remember that whole fucking... He just does so much stupid shit with this stupid lightning bolt, the thunderbolt.
It's a baton thing, and he spins it around.
It's so he does so much stupid shit, but Russell Crowe is seriously like you can tell he practiced
before
that a lot.
Before they do that scene, when Thor's talking about Zeus, I do love that Thor is like kind of geeking out about him, and he's like, he's kind of like he's got lightning, I've got a thunder. It's kind of like a thing between us. Big fan of his, and he's like, oh, you should lead with that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I can't. And the entrance, the fucking gaudy entrance, when he's like, nobody interrupts it.
Yeah.
Who is interrupting my end?
Zeus. No, who's talking?
Yeah.
You have something
That
to say?
sounds like
Sure.
Asgard the problem.
How about if you come to the you want us
The
to
big place that's the
that
stage.
there appears to be a stage.
Yeah, he's great. I do like that Thor uses the lightning bolt in the final fight. I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
Because we got the blue and the gold lightning. And I like.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I fucking loved. We're kind of kind of glossed over it, but in the beginning, there's kind of a montage looking at King Valkyrie's life so far, what it's like. In
Being the diplomat for New Asgard.
But they do the Old Spice commercial, and the fucking
Yeah.
douche who comes out with the pan flute was
Yeah.
fucking classic, dude. And I fucking almost
it really
died
did look like
laughing.
an Old Spice ad for a
Oh my
second.
god, I almost died. I was just like, that's fucking great. And I loved the framing device of Korg telling a children's story.
Yeah, I do. I like that. He's telling the myth. Yeah. I do like that.
Maybe they're setting Love up to be part of the Young Avengers.
I think that's the plan, and
Yeah.
I think they're also going to use Axel in some way,
Probably,
or do
yeah.
like a love, and I would be fine with it. Also, but did you know that is Chris Hemsworth's daughter? That's India Hemsworth.
Oh no, I did not.
India Rose Hemsworth. Yeah, she plays Love in this. I think things that I really liked about this movie were things like Omnipotent City and really expanding more on the Pantheon. Because I like that Marvel is on one hand leaning into this multiverse stuff, but on the other hand they're leaning into the more mythological god kind of ideas while also doing the cosmic stuff. And I always found that more interesting when DC and Marvel were both like, okay, fine, let's just say that these pantheons do exist, and it's a lot more fun if we do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like how Wonder Woman has Ares and Hercules and stuff like that. So, like, I love it when movies start to do that, and I think that's what was so cool about Omnipotent City and having Zeus there, and then having Thor use that lightning bolt. And
So
also,
yeah.
nerd points from them. When they're killing those guards, their blood is gold, and God's blood is gold. So I thought that was really like in Greek mythology, it's like a golden nectar.
Yeah, they're all covered in gold.
So I thought that was really cool. I like that, and it's a good way to skirt with a PG-13 rating and have a little bit more violence and be like, hey, their blood's gold.
One of the better Avengers stories from the 80s was they kill off Hercules in this seemingly in this storyline called Atlantis Attacks, and they did crossovers every summer. By the way, it was really irritating. I gotta buy how many comic books? Fuck you. Yeah, seriously, and they're all annual, so they're $2 a piece. Fuck you. That was back in the days. But they seemingly kill him off, and at one point, or no, I'm sorry, that's completely unrelated. At one point, the Masters of Evil stormed the Avengers Mansion, and they beat up Jarvis, and they beat Hercules.
Back when Jarvis was a butler.
Yeah, within an inch of his life. And they are trying to help him on Earth, and Zeus, who largely has been absent, comes back to Earth and takes Hercules back, but he causes a lot of fucking like death and destruction. So the Avengers actually go to Hades, which is where Pluto is, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's a big war between the Avengers and the Greek gods because the Greek gods are convinced that the reason why Hercules is near death and in a coma is because they didn't stand by him.
Do you think that so they were clearly setting up Hercules going after Thor because
which is great from like, dude, I told you like that's straight out of like Lee and Kirby's early
they've
years,
had
man.
and like we said, there's
There's
a history of those two characters in the comics, so that's really exciting. But do you think they're going to do something like that? Maybe because we already have like Zeus already saying like, oh, they look up to their superheroes, they don't look up to us anymore. So maybe is that what they're trying to do? Is tip their hand a little bit too? Is maybe have
but this is my issue.
I would be cool with that. That'd be fucking rad.
Sure. I mean, here's the thing: if you're setting up the next Thor movie, fucking perfect. That's fine. Thor and Hercules clash. Perfect.
That's all you need.
Yeah, I fucking don't even give a shit if you give me anything else, honestly. Because you know what? If it's in the hands of Taika Waititi, I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty good. I like his style, whatever. But you know what I really hate? There's two criticisms of the MCU that I have lately, and one of them is almost the end credit scenes are there to link the movies and TV shows and whatnot to the larger whole, okay, and further the whole as a larger
Whole.
patchwork of stories to reach one final goal. That worked so far, but so far Phase 4 is like, hey, here's 1,000 fucking threads that seemingly go nowhere. Now, I did say that, yes, it's cool because it's like comic books and stuff, and yes, that's true, but what the fuck are they trying to set up for Phase 4? Or is Phase 4 going to be a lot like Phase 2, which was kind of setting up Phase 3?
Yeah.
So Phase 4 is basically setting Phase 5 up.
According to Feige, you're going to see more direction soon, like after Thor.
That's what I thought, but I thought this was the movie that we were going to see more direction. Like, that doesn't tell me anything.
No, I think it's going to be the next one. I feel like
that's fine, and that's
I
cool,
feel like
but
the endings to this movie were continuing to wrap up those storylines.
yeah, and I'm not super mad, and I don't
Yeah.
want to be one of those assholes who's like, well, I didn't see anything. Like,
So I can't believe we've gone this long. Let's talk about gore. Proper.
sure.
I think this was a great performance.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
thought Christian Bale was great.
You can't ever get me to say a bad word about Christian Bale on screen.
Yeah,
But I think he's outlived that other part from the
Those were-
Terminator movie. I think he's
that
outlived
was
that.
a long time ago.
Yeah,
That
I think
was
he's totally outlived
over a
that.
decade ago.
But no, I seriously have never seen him in anything that I'm
No.
like, fucking that sucked.
No, he brings it every time.
But
And
he also selects. I even liked that Terminator movie because I mean there were good parts to it, but
gets shit on unfairly. It's not. It's a fine movie.
it's not perfect.
It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay.
It's not good.
But
But
you know what I mean? It's an okay movie.
but he chooses his roles
doesn't
really
it
good,
doesn't
really well,
offend me.
really good. But really well. He chooses
Yeah.
his roles really well, and that's what also makes him. And here's the thing: I always forget this, but when I was a kid, I watched Empire of the Sun. We had that on video, so that was one of the movies I'd watch
Yeah.
on a Saturday when there's nothing to do. So I've seen it like 100 times, and that's him. He's the main character, the little kid in that movie. It's a
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg movie, and like, dude, he's been around forever, man.
So what I liked about this, and as someone who read the
I love the makeup.
Yeah, I really like his design in the comics.
Yes.
But I think this is fine for what they're doing. I think it's a good design. I like his eyes, like how they're always glowing in the darkness.
Are we to assume that the person they killed who was holding the Necrosword at the beginning is supposed to be Null?
I don't think so, because they never
He
once.
kind of looks shiny and black.
Yeah,
kind
but
of like a symbiote.
That's not.
Just kidding.
I know, but it did. They didn't make any sort of reference to it being called the All Black. They only just called it the Necrosword. So
Is it that? Are they the same?
They
thing?
are the same thing. But what I'm saying is, like, they could if they wanted to.
Well,
but
when
I
you
don't
think about it, they
that's
fucked
gonna
up Beta Ray Bill by making Stormbreaker Thor's. By
Yeah.
making Stormbreaker.
Yeah, Thor's. Oh, sorry. You know what?
It's okay.
My phone is, about
It's
to
okay.
die. So,
I'm sorry.
so I didn't
buddy.
want to say
It's
that.
Thor's weapon.
That Stormbreaker is.
It's Thor's weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah, but anyway,
jerks.
they did fuck that up, but whatever. And now Love uses it, so
Yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. Like, I
whatever, man.
no, but
No, I'm kidding. No,
you got to know you're not going straight for comics by this
But
point.
what I liked how they did, so
I've accepted that.
What's interesting how they did it in the movie versus in the comic, and it's pretty much the same. Although the difference is, in the comics, he's by himself with his daughter because the planet is dying, they're losing crops and everything. But he casted himself out by cursing the gods.
Oh, okay.
And this, I believe, this is after his wife died.
Yeah,
And
they
so
kind
he
of
was with the kid for a while.
gloss over that part
and then
of it.
Very similar to, I mean, I understand because of time. They can only
Sure.
probably tell so much. And in the comics, his daughter dies, and then he finds the Necrosword after two gods fall from the sky.
Mm.
And then he picks up the sword and it consumes it and everything. So this is a little bit different with him finding the sword calling out to him. But I like that because it makes I like the idea that it gives you a moment of understanding him and his motivations, and also showing why he's kind of right, because gods are shitty.
And part of the message too of this movie is you can worship gods all you want, whatever it is, but when it comes down to it, we have to rely on each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to do Thor's weapon. I'm like, why are we going to do that? What?
Tiki Watiti.
Yeah.
I think really drives that home. No,
I'm surprised there hasn't been more conservative people going.
but that's the thing too, isn't that this is the same thing.
Did you catch the dig at Christianity, by the way?
What?
The god of carpentry?
Oh, yeah.
Did you check that? Yeah.
I didn't see that.
No, he says like, oh, the god of carpentry. They don't show anything.
Oh, he just.
It's
said,
when but he points and says the god of carpentry, and
that's
then they.
funny.
Yeah, I caught it right away because I'm a Satan loving devil worshiper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza time.
I'm actually
That's
not.
what you say when you party. No,
What do I say? Pizza time?
I liked his performance. It's almost kind of like what he would kind of be like for a Joker. It seems like that level of creepiness to him. I'm not saying like he is like the Joker at all. That's not what I'm saying. Gore is. What I'm saying is he's kind of got that level of creepiness.
No,
to him.
I think he played it exactly the way it should have been played. Like, I mean, like he's gonna listen to me. Like, oh, all right, thank you, mate.
idea,
No,
some fucking idiot in Iowa.
I appreciate it, you fucking sod, you fuck.
Yeah.
What
the fuck are you doing?
Do you fucking know who I am?
Don't
Anyway,
shut me up.
I'm sorry, Christian. I love
I
you.
need to get that as a drop. Don't shut me up.
What? No, I don't know.
Nice.
No, he played him right because the way the beginning he's lost, then the Necrosword gives him purpose, and it seems like I think they could have spent a little more time on the whole gods being killed thing instead of just being like a cosmic distress signal or whatever.
Like shown him doing it, yeah.
Sure, but
Like
whatever.
like taking out a couple
Small
gods.
complaint, sure,
Yeah.
small complaint. And then, but every time he showed up on screen after that, he moved with a purpose. Like his will was already, he was inevitable.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody was going to do, he was still going to get to eternity and get his wish. And he played it like that. And when you have a character that has that sharp of a focus,
Yeah.
they tend to be a little bit loony.
He kidnapped children to lure him in.
They tend to be a little bit unhinged, and he played that exactly right because he wasn't crazy.
I liked that we got to see him fight a couple times. Like we did get to see the first fight in New Asgard and the fight later, but
yeah,
I did like that he used the shadow creatures and like because that's
now the Attack on New Asgard Lego set makes sense because I was like, what the fuck is this thing? Oh, it's a shadow creature.
Yeah. But I like that. I
Right.
like that whole sequence because we get that fight and then we get the build of Gore in the background, and then we get the introduction of Jane as the mighty.
Man, my balls just sweat during this episode, during this show.
We get the reveal.
I get done, and I'm just like, is there any like talcum powder anywhere for my balls?
I like that we only find out because Thor's fighting, and then we hear the ping, ping, ping of like flying around of Mjolnir. Like he knows what that sound is.
I knew what that sound was.
Yeah.
Sexy.
And then the fact that he reaches out, almost catches it, and then it's back to, and then Jane. I
liked her performance.
I love that they over stylized his helmet, and then he immediately took it off and never wore it the rest of the movie.
Oh yeah, no.
Which is like, well, that's clearly for a toy.
Natalie Portman's performance was great. I loved seeing what's her name again.
I gotta say this though, it was very distracting that her helmet was CGI. I could tell that her helmet was fake.
No, she didn't wear it a lot, but still, Marvel, you could have done better.
Or just have her not wear the helmet.
Sure.
Like, I don't know why you need.
Well, all the toys have the helmet.
But why did you need to CG the helmet?
Here's the dumb thing: we knew almost from the moment that you announced the movie, before it even got started, movie, that Natalie Portman, right? So what is the fucking helmet for? Oh, we can't reveal that it's Natalie Portman. Shut the fuck up. I hate you, Marvel. I fucking give, and you fucking disappoint me. Every fucking
No, but I love that too. That we had that moment
that made that
of
whole
all this fighting and all this tension, and then it cuts, and then we have another narration from Korg
Right.
of their relationship. And and I said this to Ashley. I go, I'll give this movie credit.
I
It-
love the Halloween
it
scene, by the way.
It makes Jane and Thor believable
Yes.
because any other movie, if you're just in between those movies, it just didn't feel like they were really together. It just felt like she oogled this guy and wanted to be with him because he was so hot. And then this, they actually show that they developed a relationship.
Do you blame her?
Well, no, I mean he's a gorgeous dude.
Magnificent slab of man meat, right?
But yeah,
there.
no, and
Oh yeah, I know.
the little fake,
Boy, howdy, do I know.
the little fights that they had, it's silly because it's like, and then Ashley looked at me while we were at the movie theater because we've had those silly little spats, so it's very believable as a couple, and that's what I think is interesting about this movie is how it really is about love. It's very much a love story, and it works for me in a sense of like, okay, I believe that he loves Jane. I buy into that, and I buy into their relationship. By the time when they finally kiss each other, and it's like, well, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But the whole time that she's on after that fight, one of my favorite parts of that fight was when Gore tries to grab Stormbreaker, and he goes, "Don't touch my thing." He's like, "Don't touch my thing," and then he knocks him off. It's one of those cheesy action lines, but I love it because it, like you know what I'm saying. I love action movies, and this is what this scratched like an '80s action movie is.
There was a
classic adventure movie.
Yeah, it was a classic coming of age
classic
adventure
Thor
movie.
adventure.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we didn't even talk about that scene when he first shows up and he's just fucking wrecking dudes and killing them, and when he jumps up and does the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits between two of those fucking speeder cars. Like,
is that the joke you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you don't like that joke, I feel like that might be where you're kind of turned off by this movie.
I thought it was odd, but then I was like, well,
it's ridiculous.
There's nothing to not. I mean, there's okay. If you take that scene and you tell me, okay, is there anything not to like? I could maybe think of a few things, and I could say that there's a few things that I do like, but there's not enough things about it that I don't like to say that, oh, that was stupid. You know?
Yeah.
I liked it more than I didn't, even though it wasn't my favorite part.
I get that it's silly and it's over the top, but that's why I love it.
I knew that it wasn't that, but that kind of started me kind of on the path to being like, but the scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy are so fucking great, dude. How about you? You want to try and whistle? Like fucking Mantis. I know, Steve Englehart. It's not the Mantis you created in the comic books. I know. I get it. I've created things. I get it. But the Mantis that James Gunn created is fucking great, dude. She is hilarious.
Did you remember to retrace your steps? You remember where you put the remote? Besides, if you can't use it, it'll be great meat.
Yeah. Ding, everybody.
Great
meeting everybody. Yes,
starter.
yes. Yeah. Those fucking great. I liked their scenes a lot. They weren't in there that much, but you could tell that. I think you could tell that James Gunn had a little, must have had some hand in it a little bit to be like, hey, this is, I'm sure at some point
they talk to each other, Tyler. They talk to each other.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
They do.
Yes,
it's a council.
It's the Illuminati.
It's the council of the
it's
MCU directors.
It's the council of the Illuminati.
Well, real funny.
Yeah, you like that one?
Funny.
Fuck you. I don't know why we're so angry.
Going forward, I'm actually really excited what they do with the character. I think that the Jane storyline, I thought it was a really nice way of wrapping it up. This with doing the cancer storyline.
They didn't
sad,
do
man.
Jane Foster dirty.
It was really sad.
And they almost did.
When she wakes up and takes Mjolnir, it's sad.
I cried so hard at the end.
Because you knew she was going to die. And just like, damn.
I cried so hard when he said that he loves her.
Which is just like what happens in the comics, too. She picks up Mjolnir one last time to sacrifice
to save
herself.
the world.
But as you said, she becomes Valkyrie, so who knows what happens. But no, I think the Hercules reveal really pumped me up because I was like, okay. Because my thought is like, if you're going to do it like what you and I were saying, and they won't do this because I feel like they have to have some other hook because it's an MCU movie. Yeah. But if it was really just Hercules and Thor fighting each other for 2 hours, that's totally fine with me. I would watch that. You'd think it'd get boring, but no, it wouldn't. It's gonna be two guys just pounding each other, just two big sweaty men slapping meat. That's what I want to see.
Just pounding the fuck
Just
out of each other.
fucking beating each other raw.
No lube. Wait.
What?
Why'd you have to go there?
Got a crowd behind that one.
Wow. Yeah, you got me. No, your dog scared the shit out of me earlier, like barking. It doesn't normally, but I was like, what? You know.
That's it. I had to say that. Hey, that's the reality.
What are you gonna fucking do, bro?
The look on your face when I play that drop every time. I'm like, what? What of it?
What are you gonna do?
Hey, had to say
That's
that.
fucking reality, all right? I'm fucking sorry you don't like it. Fucking eat it.
Welcome to reality.
Put it on a
Tyler.
plate, put some mustard on it, and get a fork and a knife and eat it. There's also There's also ketchup.
Anyway.
No, but I love the movie. 5 stars.
5 hammers. 5 hammers out of 5 hammers.
5 LGBTQ plus flags. Because you know
It's
that's
a very gay movie, apparently.
Oh man, no, because
How
you know
about- how about-
there's trolls out there who are
What'd
just
you
like
think? What'd you think about?
anything to look at.
What'd you think about Korg?
All right.
I could have done without the face, just the face parts.
Yeah, I mean, it lended some comedic effect, so it was okay.
It
I
was
didn't
funny
mind
hearing
it.
him sing. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that was but
Yeah, bro.
I'm glad they didn't sacrifice him, but they also kind of did Meek dirty too. Like, what's going on there?
Will you stop?
Well, what
Not everything.
what is he
why
doing?
you keep- well, they did that guy dirty. They
Well,
did
they
Steve
tried-
from catering dirty. They stiffed him to the tip.
Fuck you, Steve.
At the end of the day,
From
At
catering.
the end of the day, who were the standout performances? Tessa Thompson, Natalie Portman, Chris Hemsworth, Christian Bale, the
Yep.
main cast. That's all that matters. But you're right. I don't know what they're doing with Meek because it was a weird thing. Okay, one quick thing. I want to address something before we stop talking about it.
Yeah, I've dressed
I'm
all
really
the things.
fucking sick of these revisionist history people that act like they actually gave a shit about the first 2 Thor movies.
Oh yeah.
And who are now like, Thor's too silly. I wish he'd go back to this.
What is he?
You didn't fucking like those 2.
What is he all playful and stuff like a little child? What? Well, why can't he be all douchey and serious like an adult? Because douchey and serious is lame.
And I'm not even talking about the people that are like, hey, I liked Ragnarok. I really didn't like this one because it was too jokey. That's fine. I totally get that
Yeah.
criticism.
Okay.
But if you're like, well, it's not my fucking serious Thor, I'm like, dude, Thor, if you want serious Thor and you want him talking like Shakespearean, I'm sorry, that's just not as interesting.
You
It's
read the Simonson comics. There's actually quite a bit of humor in those,
Yes.
and and it's very organic humor too. It's not forced. It's not really silly, but Thor is a well-rounded character.
At the end of
the
the-
way Simonson writes him.
At the end of the day, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it.
So did I.
I'm
5
excited.
hammers.
5 hammers out of 5.
I got hammered 5 times this movie.
Yeah, I took 5 friggin' Boilermakers. And then I saw Thor Live and Thunder.
It was a Long Island iced tea.
And I was like,
Am I spitting on myself?
Thor Living Blender. Me.
Thor loving
That was me when I was watching it because I was drunk. But
loving spoonful of Thor.
at the end of the day, I'm excited for the next one. I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah.
So that should really be the indication.
It seems to me that they're gonna do another Thor, right? I mean,
yeah.
why bring
Hemsworth
Hercules
said
into
that
it
he'll keep doing it
to
until
fight
he's bored.
Thor, or to fight who? Who would they? Who would not? You know what I mean? Like,
I
Thor hung it up.
will say this though.
Hmm.
We did need 2 scenes of Matt Damon and
let's
Luke
be honest.
Hemsworth.
No,
that
we
scene
did
was-
not need the second part. No, but the
first
scene,
part was funny with Melissa McCarthy.
that
being
was
Hela.
fucking great,
I
dude.
fucking laughed.
Haha! I broke your hammer. Perfect. You know, and it was like,
yeah, I laughed
oh.
at that. That was really funny.
And then the Bifrost and
yeah,
you could tell they were really, really having fun with it, which is great. And clearly that's not Matt Damon. Well, because does Matt Damon talk in a English accent? Because when they showed him on screen the second time, he was speaking.
You don't think he can't do an accent?
No, I'm saying like in the MCU, that's
that it's
not
an
Matt Damon.
Asgardian. That's not Matt. Yeah.
Or no, I think they're both Earth dudes, but I think they're just really arty,
they
theater
were on
guys.
Asgard the last time though.
Okay. Maybe they are
As I
Asgardian
say, they're
theater guys.
Asgardian theater
Yeah.
nerds.
But no, I actually thought that that they had gotten Matt Damon like to do the, you know what I mean? Like Loki had
like
paid
the
Matt Damon
from
to
from
get.
yeah. I see what
Oh, I love the I
you
love
say,
the,
like, the
I love
actor.
the
I was
Bourne
like-
Identity movies. Those are some of my favorite Earth movies. Bring me Matt Damon to play me. You know?
I thought you were saying that like Matt. That's not Matt Damon. He's got
No,
an
I
and
knew it was-
like Tyler. You don't think he can do an accent?
Yeah, that's stupid.
I know that's not what you were doing, but I
fucking-
don't. That's not. Matt
That's how much
Damon.
faith he has in my brain. Wait a second. You seriously thought that wasn't Matt Damon? I mean,
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it
that's
a
the
lot.
wrong movie, Spider-Man. What?
Yeah, well, that too. I enjoyed that movie too. If I were to rank it on our moats in my mouth scale, I would be like, you know what?
Yes! give me one of those too. Yes! Put one of those on my plate and I'll sop it up with a
And
biscuit.
then I said, you know what?
Tiki Watiti.
Mm.
You know, you just got.
$1 million, bitch.
Good job, buddy. No, I'm
that's
excited. Yeah, let's. Well, you might as well do it one more time to make it, because it's more effective when you do it and then there's nothing else.
Shut your face up and do it.
Anytime.
And that's it.
See, that's much better. You see?
Shut up.
And that's it.
See, that's much better. That.
And that's it.